thought I'd do a video because I've got some more space on my phone now after I've backed it up and got rid of my old stuff. So where I'm at now is I'm just cleaning each individual key and loosely slotting those back in to the manual. You don't torque them up until you've got the front fascia back on, and because I'm replacing the upstop felts, you must make sure you've got a slight gap where it actually where the metal folds. You must have a gap of about 2 mil to accommodate the metal frame which runs left to right. So you put the upstop felt about 2 mil in front of that fold of the metal. So just find something like a long ruler or something that's got about 2 mil, just so you can put the upstop felt on without any going off course. So like I say, at the back there you've got all the individual screws to hold the keys. What you can see there is the back of the key, where the metal has a slot in it which allows it to drop behind the head of the screw. And you've got 2 pins, one on either side of the head of the screw head to line it up, and they run all the way along. So I've used zinc paint to protect the floor of the manual. ZG90. Pretty expensive paint, but it gets good reviews. Rust removal, I used Built Amber Deox gel. Prior to painting, once again I used Built Amber degreaser just to make sure it was completely clean before I put the zinc on. So I've just got the preset bar to grease, and you've got metal strips which come off the preset keys which latch onto this here, so that has to be greased, as well as the pivot points and just the action parts. Pretty self-explanatory really when you look at it. Make sure this goes back on the same way it came off. As you see, you've got a slot in there for adjustment, and it will affect the preset keys if you don't put that back the way it was. So make sure you take a picture of that. So for the keys, it's just a case of a bit of soap and water. Just using a standard non-scratchable scourer. I've currently got the last couple of octaves just on top of the radiator just to air off. As you can see on the backs of the underside of the keys, you've got a felt pad, which is what comes into contact with the pushers, and these pushers is what makes contact with all the 9 contacts on each key. So it's coming along. After 50 years, I mean, this is one of the younger console Hammonds, but this is pushing 50 years now. And really, if you're looking to get a Hammond console, you're going to have to be prepared now, after 50 years at least, to pay someone to do some work on them, or get your hands dirty and do it yourself, because there's no way you can really expect an organ at 50 years without any maintenance whatsoever to be as good at what it should be, whether it be electrolytic capacitors or wax paper capacitors, which have long since dried out, and the organ just won't sound like what it used to be. So the good thing with the later organs is they used electrolytic capacitors, which are far superior than the wax paper capacitors on the earlier organs, which tend to make the Hammond sound like it's got a blanket thrown over the Leslie. But obviously the downside is you've got the foam in the manuals for the later organs. But for me, I would probably rather have a later organ and deal with the foam rather than an earlier organ. But obviously that's personal preference. Bus bars I've removed. Unfortunately, one of them got damaged. On removal, the bus bar felt a bit gritty as it was coming out, and the original lubricant had kind of gummed up on the bus bar, and certainly it's possible that that's what's caused the plating wire to get peeled back. So I've cleaned all them down with isopropyl alcohol and then put new lubricant on, and they slotted back in a lot smoother without any feeling of grittiness that they had on removal. I have bought several more bus bars, which weren't cheap, but you've got no chance of getting a bus bar in the UK without effectively buying another organ. So I thought I'd better get a few for America just to see the job right, just in case I have any more problems with the lower manual bus bars. But yeah, it's starting to look like new, just about.